Back in 2008, I have joined my first employer. After 2 years of that, I transferred to the localization sector. I was translating books in various fields, 2008 until 2010. When I moved to the localization sector in 2010, I was frustrated. I was facing many difficulties handling the tools, handling the client instructions, and the content that is contextless. When Tornado Studio was first introduced, I was very excited. I became very excited. Tornado Studio especially made me make peace with other tools. I have learned other tools before it. So I sought my other colleagues, my other experienced colleagues, to tackle what I have missed. I wrote all of the knowledge and instructions and tips I have learned from them in files, especially a file for Trad Studio. Trad Studio was the first program, the first tool that I solved problems in it without asking my colleagues. So, this lecture, this video is for beginners who do not have an idea about CAT tools, do not know what are the CAT tools, the concepts of the CAT tools. So let's begin. I'm Nasser Rehan, translator from 2008, worked with Nature Arabic Edition and many other companies in the fields of localization and translation, in marketing, technical, human resources, public relations, and other fields. I have also managed and administrated teams of translation. Let us begin our topics. Why it emerged? Requirements, especially for beginners. Is it efficient? What are the basic, the essential means that aid us inside these tools? Difference between CAT tools and machine translation. A quick overview about prominent CAT tools. Then a glimpse of marketing tips about how to market yourself as a CAT tools user. First things first. A CAT tool is not replacing you, is not handling translation instead of you. It is a software that provides means, translation memory, term base, and other means to maintain consistency, tweak the looking up for legacy translations, and better store the materials you translate to be in aid when you need further later. Why it emerged? Every invention was due to some needs. What are the needs? Here are examples of the needs that we encountered and led to the invention of CAT tools instead of other traditional means to translate, like Microsoft Word or two columns in a Microsoft Excel or otherwise. Consistency. A core principle in translation and localization is the consistency of terms. I cannot translate a term like vehicle in the beginning of a file, then I say automobile. After that, I say bus, for example. Just an example about providing several target translation for the same source word. In the traditional means, we count on our pure mental capabilities, pure human memory to recall what we have translated the other week or the other months. But here, there are automated capabilities that remind us whether this term shall be translated as vehicle or automobile or otherwise. So, automation, and it is a core principle, it is a core concept that we will face and will mention several times during this lecture. Same thing with higher demands. It all started with globalization when tycoons like Microsoft and HP and Dell wanted to target other markets in several languages, of course, and we'll see an example about that after a while. So, from their part, project management was so exhaustive, time exhaustive. So they needed other means, other automated means to handle project management. Last example is desktop publishing. DTP needs DTP, which equals desktop publishing. It tackles every aspect of how the content will be displayed. What is the medium? What is the final medium of publishing this content? So these tools provided us with means to concentrate, to focus on our main task, which is translation. Appearance of this content, these tools will handle by 90% or even 100%. This aspect will be handled by these tools. We'll be seeing examples later in this lecture. An example of consistency of terms. This is an example of a glossary, multilingual glossary. The client is from United States, is providing the original term in column B and other translation in various languages in other columns. In the traditional means we control F in this file to find our target. What if we typed what we seek wrong and do not become aware that we typed it wrong? It will show no results, even though there is a result in it, in the file. So automation with regard to consistency of terms made this error, undisputed error, unaware error, marginal, even impossible. If a term existed in the automated file inside the CAT tool, it will be showed automatically. Once again, automation capabilities. It will be showed automatically without even searching, without even typing. So it helps us. It makes us avoid the human typos and otherwise. For beginners? Shall beginners jump into CAT tools all at once? No. They need basic IT knowledge. A user that do not know how to create a new folder and name it, a user who cannot know how to set up a program and then run it, will face much more difficulties in learning CAT tools. Number two, avoiding the machine translation capabilities. I'm here talking about any beginner who will be using these tools to avoid the machine translation capabilities inside these tools. Machine translation post editing is another thing. I'm not talking about machine translation post editing, but I'm talking specifically about using Google Translate to feed translation in CAT tools. Google Translate and the like. Otherwise, you depend on yourself. Just like a kid who is learning mathematics and using his brain inside instead of a calculator. So a plugin like My Memory or Google Translate or the like, I advise that you avoid it, especially in the beginning of your practicing of translation. The core facilitation means. What are the aids? What are the means that aid us, help us in these tools? These are the essential, the core. Facilitation means, assistance means, first of all, segmentation. When content is transferred from a source file to a CAT tool, it is segmented. It is transferred into segments. The CAT tool will not invent of its own. It will bring the structure of these segments based on the source file. Number two, translation memory, TM, term base, TB. These are the primary resources that help us inside the CAT tools. Each of them is a file that works as a database to store and search for later. Quality assurance means examples are on the screen and will be handled and explained later in this lecture. Finally, machine learning. The tool itself, when it stores material from our translation, let us affirm that it learns from our translation. You are the one who is feeding it with material, with terms, with enhancements, with maintenance. So it will learn from you and it will be as good as you. As Su Ching once said, pardon me if I pronounce the name wrong, but it is one of the most prominent mentors I have learned from back in 2017 and 2018. So, for spectacles, is it efficient? For every beginner, there are two scenarios. If you are busy and have no time, you will gain some capabilities, some fruits from day one. These are what you gain from day one. From day one, you will gain the benefits of these. But on the long run, you can invest and establish resources. You can transform other non-CAT tool translated materials into a TM. Other glossaries, such as Excel we mentioned earlier, into a term base. So you can benefit from them instead of starting from the zero. So, two scenarios. This is the first scenario from day one. This is the long run scenario, which I call investment scenario. In the two scenarios, after a while, after you get a grip of these CAT tools, Trad Studio, MemoQ, or otherwise, you will gain speed, consistency of terms, and finally, our number one target, quality. Quality is what all we seek. This is what we maintain, what enables us to maintain clients and by result gain money. So let us analyze and give examples by screenshots about these facilitation means, these assistance means. How are they efficient exactly? First of all, segmentation. We mentioned that every CAT tool processes the content, transforms the content to transform it into a segment based on the structure of the very source file. Here is an example. Even though the target is Arabic, I imagine that you will be able to imagine what I'm talking about here. This is a traditional way of translating. The source in the upper half of the screen, the target is in the lower half. So, what if, imagine with me, I missed a sentence, lost in translation. Even worse, what if I missed a paragraph? With segmentation, the common mistake of lost in translation is becoming lesser and nearly impossible. If this is the source, you can pause to get a grip of it, look at it. This is how it appears inside Trados Studio, for example. As you can notice, it doesn't lose its relation to the source. It is structured based on the source. Even the colors, bold, italic aspects are there. This is the editor of Trados Studio. Let us analyze it. The numbers in green are the numbers of segments. So segments are numbered to ease how I can reach to a certain or a specific segment. The column between the source on the left and the target on the right, the target is now empty, is a column of a status. What is a status? The status of translation. Is it translated? Is the translation confirmed? Is it draft? And otherwise. The column, the green column, the green highlighted column on the right gives you a glimpse about the content, whether it is a heading, a paragraph, a list item, and the like. You will not need to permanently check these hints only in the beginning until you memorize them. Number one arrows refers to the windows of translation memory. As we mentioned earlier, a translation memory is a database file in which we store all of our translation. Number two are the windows. Number two arrows are the windows of term-base, a database file in which we store, by its very name, it is a term base, so we store terms only. TM for all of our translation, term base for specific terms, selected terms. Who selects them? It's you who selects them. Number three is a bar of facilitation icons that reminds you of your source language, target language, how much you translated, how much you do not translate yet, and so on. The red highlighted parts are menus in the upper right. In the upper left, pardon me, in the upper left are menus. Just like any program, they have menus. But on top of that, they have something that we call views. In the lower left, these are the views of Traductor. Views are extra to aid us and organize our work. The idea and concept of all in one place is core in CAT tools, and it's facilitating our work way more. Every view of these views, of course, have its own menu items. An example for segmentation of memo queue. So, to remind you, we are talking about the core, the essential facilitation means that CAT tools provide. Translation phases. How come a translation phase is a facilitation means? How does it assist us? The middle phase is what I'm talking about. Translation in CAT tools compared to traditional means are not just translation. It is translation and the update of resources, maintenance of resources, translation memories and term bases. So for further use, this will be maintained as you work, as you translate on the go. Every edit you make is an update of your resources and will benefit you later, the next day or the next month or even after 5 years or even more. So phase 2 in CAT tools is not a mere translation, it is a translation and update of resources. So if this is the source file, get a look of it, pause. This is how it looks inside Trados. This is how it looks after extracting the target, the clean target, clean which equals non-bilingual, only target. I can imagine that you will notice I didn't, while translating, you do not have to tackle the aspects of color, font size, font type. Trados and CAT tools handles these for you by a percentage of above 90%. Sometimes it is even 100%. Such as segment 1 here, you do not have to do anything but typing, just translate. Efficient handling of terms. How it assists us and aids us in these aspects. This is an example from Trados Studio about a specific window which is called term recognition. It is automated. It is recognized the source term and provides its target equivalent as long as it is present in the term base. What is a term base? It is a file that is a database to store terms, specific terms you selected. A more global or general view on term recognition inside Trados. Another way that Trados assists you is to put a red line above the source file, the source term, pardon me, the source term. Every source term that exists in the term base will have a red line above it. So this is Trados' way to inform you what is present and what is not present in the term base. So you can decide if there is another term to add or not, if the term you are seeking is present and ready to use or not, how it is used. It is used by auto-suggestion. Every time you write a single letter, an auto-suggest appears. A list of auto-suggestion appears to select your term from it and then press enter. Imagine the effort and time you save, the consistency you maintain, and the errors you avoid. By result quality up. Yeah. Example from MQ. Every blue highlighted source is present in the term base. Every time you type a single letter in target, it provides auto-suggestion list just like that. And translation results window is showing the source and target stored automatically. You don't have to search manually or type anything. So once again, automated capabilities. A term that is stored in the term base will not be carved in stone. It can be edited. Every time you want to edit a term, add a term, modify a term, you will be able to do so. This example is from MQ, and every tool provides these capabilities unless clients restrict it from their part for cloud web-based tools they maintain the term base. Even in this scenario, you will gain the benefits of automated lookup. You will not have to type anything. Another example from TM, translation memory. This is one of the windows of translation memory inside Trados. It is called translation results. Its components is very intuitive. The white source in the upper left is the current source. The blue highlighted source below it is the old source. With track changes to compare current source and old source, legacy source. On the right is the legacy translation. All in one place to compare once and for all and take your decision what to use and what not to use, what to edit or not to edit. Another example, this is a Fragment Matches. It is a window called Fragment Matches inside Trados Studio. It is providing results automatically. You do not have to type anything. Just like translation results window, it also provides results automatically. From its very name, Fragment Matches, it provides fragments, parts of sentences, compared to translation results, which provides all of the string, all of the segment. The last example is concordance search window, a TM window. Here in this screenshot, you will see other brothers, her sisters, if we can say, translation results, fragment matches, concordance search. They are brothers, they are sisters, if you can say. All their mother is the translation memory. Concordance search is specified for manual search. Even though you can type in the search field, you can search only by pressing a button. You highlight, you select the source you want to search, then press F3 in a PC, or FN F3, FN plus F3 in laptop, in some laptops, not all laptops. I guess now you get a grip, you get an understanding about the windows of translation memories inside Trados, and how can use them. Two of them are 100% automated results, and Fragment is 100% automated. Concordance, sometimes it looks up automatically, but its essential function is to search by the button of F3 after selecting a source. This is an example from MemoQ's TM. On the very right side, translation results window includes the results from both TM and term base. Once again, it is showed automatically without even typing. Another example, MemoQ. So let's move to another aspect. Another assistance means quality assurance. Regarding the aspect of client feedback, bear with me. If you worked for a specific client for 3 months, for example, then he checked your translation for another month and returned with feedback. No, two minds can produce the same text. Even you are a top professional, a top quality provider, there will be edits. If he edited some edits and he is satisfied with the quality, he will return to you and say, let us work for another project. You have done a great job. So these are my edits, so you can maintain and abide to in the upcoming project. In the traditional means, to maintain these edits, you will have to open several, I am afraid it will be tens or hundreds of files that will be used as reference, the old translated material will be used as a reference in the new project. You have to edit and replace one by one or replace all, which is dangerous, which is tricky. I advise otherwise to apply the modifications, the edits of your client, or even if he provides the updated files, you will have to read them quickly to get a grip of what it changed and what is not. This is all for usage in the new project. So how it differs in CAD tool. Once again, the difference is you. In the CAD tools, you are the one who make edits, not in tens of files, not in hundreds of files, just in one place. You open, for example, a translation memory. You ask your client in advance to provide his edits in track changed files. Even better, in a list. Even though, and this is a real life situation that I encountered, I get feedback files from the client. We were a team that worked in a huge project for months. We get the feedback in the shape of scanned PDFs with handwritten feedback. He striked over every term he edited. by handwritten version, handwritten edits. So every time we go through from one page to another, it becomes easier. I opened the track changed or the striked through scanned PDFs from page to another and read these striked terms. And I open the translation memory file, which you are seeing right now, to search for source and target, source only, target only, and make new edits. The difference is I make it in one place, in one file. This one file will be used in the new project. So it saves time, promotes and uplifts quality, and by the result, maintains clients and more money for us. Example from MemoQ, editing a translation memory inside MemoQ. This is from Trad Studio, editing a translation memory in Trad Studio, and this is from MemoQ. Even better, when you are already aware of your client preferences, do and don'ts, you apply these do's and don'ts in advance. You do not wait until it feedbacks you, they feedback you, and give you edits before your final delivery. And this is a real life example in the screen you are saying. I was searching in advance before our delivery about specific edits which the client provided last time we worked to avoid any instance, every instance of forbidden terms, the do's of the client, the don'ts of the client to be applied. So we are still talking about quality assurance, and an aspect of it is QA messages inside these tools. An example from Trados: don't panic, don't have to read all of the message. The line of warning is of utmost importance, which in this example says tag order in this segment has been changed. So you do the edit, the necessary edit in advance before delivery. Another example, repeated word found, and this is automated. You don't have to do anything. The program is doing it for you. Another example from MQ, here it notifies you that this segment is not confirmed, and confirmation in CAT tools is necessary, is of utmost necessity. It means that you have edited and confirmed your translation. It is not a draft. It is a proof that you stored this translation in the translation memory. Another example from MQ, the lightning symbol on the right is MemoQ's way to warn you, to get your attention that there might be a problem here to tackle. So you double click this icon, this symbol, to get more details about the potential error or mistake and edit it before you deliver. So the aspect of DTP desktop publishing, as we mentioned in the beginning of this lecture, is related to the appearance of the content you handle. Another aspect of it is the extensions of files you can handle. Let's say, for example, that you are supposed to translate an Adobe InDesign file. Is that meaning that you have to have Adobe's programs on your device? It is not necessary. You can still input an Adobe InDesign file into Trados or into MQ to translate and see its contents, translate its contents without even having the original program set up on your device, even if it is the Office itself. If you don't have the Office, you can still translate a Microsoft Word, a Microsoft PowerPoint. The only thing here that you will miss is that you will not be able to see the final target, the final clean target. Okay? This aspect is related to the appearance, the extensions of material, and also to quality assurance. How is that? This is the list, the half of the list that Trados Studio supports. The other half, file extensions supported by Trados Studio. How is DTP aspect are related to quality assurance? As you know, translating a paragraph is different from translating a table cell, is different from translating a heading. So the hints on the right gives you a glimpse of how can you translate these contents. So source does not lose its identity, its structure in target. Another example is the tags. The tags is making our job far more easier. For example, if you have to make a footnote in target in the traditional way, what do? You select this footnote, then go to a specific menu and press a specific item inside this menu. In the CAT tools, all you have to do is to copy the tag of source to its position, its equivalent position in target. This is what all you have you do. Another example of tags from MemQ, a photo will not be showed as a photo inside the text. It will be showed as a tag. All what you have to do is to keep the position of this tag and the tag itself to be put in target same as source. We're still talking about core facilitation means. Don't lose the line. Machine learning. We mentioned that these tools learn from you. Handles, processes the material you store and provide auto suggestions based on the treatment and processing of what you stored. In this example, in segment 19, I wrote a term because it is confirmed and stored in the translation memory. When it came back in segment 91, an auto suggestion appeared. So imagine the time you save and the effort you save in typing, and more importantly, the consistency you maintain when you use the auto-suggested. You press enter on an auto-suggested term, just like that. Another example, dates. You do not have to write dates by yourself. It is dangerous. I forbid you. Use the automation to write dates. Control comma Control plus comma in Trad Studio writes dates and numbers and abbreviations if you need them for you. Auto propagation. What is this feature? This feature is all about if you encounter inside one file a repeated content, a repeated paragraph, a repeated heading, a repeated term or a phrase. In the traditional means, you will have to go up in the file, search for what you seek, copy it, return to the position you are writing in, paste it. It is a dilemma. No, in CAT tools, it will be auto-propagated once and for all, and this will be automated. It has no sense to write every repeated paragraph or term or a phrase once again. In this example, in this screenshot, you will see that a word was repeated. Imagine it is repeated 100 times inside one file. Have you to write it yourself every time you encounter it? No, you write it the first occurrence. When you confirm it, it is propagated, it is filled, it is auto-filled in the other 99 instances or occurrences. Example, from MMQ, segment 3 and segment 7 are identical, so they are propagated automatically. Another example of machine learning is fuzzy. Fuzzy is automated capability that provides you target based on the processing of terms in the term base and translation memory or memories. I can imagine even with the difference of language, you will get a grip, you will get an understanding of what I'm saying here. In segment 91, because some terms, all of the terms in source are present in term base and also in the translation memory, target was written automatically without a single letter from me. But I have to edit a percentage of 21, a percentage of 21. The column of status is saying it is matched by 79% and is putting a gear icon that refers that you have to tweak, you have to fix, you have to edit this target. So once again, the difference is you. Another example about on auto suggestion, even though it is the same word, it is from several sources, from up till down, term base, automatic lookup from a TM, fragment matches from TM, Autosuggest dictionary that is extracted from a TM. Example from Q. Another example about automatic lookup from Trados. As you can see, it provides several suggestions arranged by length, and you can pick what you want by selecting and pressing the arrow buttons in the keyboard. Once you select what you want, press enter. Autosuggest dictionary. Wow, this is my best. This is my second best. Fragment matches. In this example, target, I was translating from Arabic into English. Why? From the hundreds of words that starts with E in English, these specific two suggestions are showing. Because the program, the tool Trados here, make a link between the content stored in the translation memory, the current source I'm handling right now, and by so it provides, it learned from the content stored and provides this specific suggestion and nothing else. Even though recognition is showing two suggestions here, portrayal and projection, because BOR and BRO are lookalike. But suggestion, auto-suggestion inside the target segment itself is only showing BRO because I have written BR. So it is a smart suggestion. My first, my very best, my preferred, my top example of machine learning is fragment matches. Imagine with me, bear with me. In this example, I was revising a file that is translated by my colleague. I noticed and checked, is this suggestion present in the file? The answer is no. Is it present in the translation memory? The answer is no. So, Fragment Matches in Trados Studio provides even processed suggestions. From its name, we can see fragment alignment. It aligns pieces to produce another content that is not even present. In this example, if you can read Arabic, you will notice that the suggestion is very near, its quality is very high to what the needed edit in this example. I hope you encounter this in your real work to know the excitement that I encountered when I first encountered it, when I first handled it. Other facilitation means, not core, other. Machine translation capabilities, as we said in the beginning of the lecture, there are machine translation capabilities inside, whether through plugins or otherwise, free or paid, you can get machine translation capabilities. My advice is to avoid them if you are a beginner. This lecture is for beginners anyways. Exchange. If you are using Trados Studio, for example, you are not stuck with it. You can transform your materials, your resources, your translation memories, and or term bases to any other format to be used in any other CAT tool. So this is a good one. Investment, you do not have to start from zero. You can transform, you can otherwise transfer any legacy material that is not translated using a CAT tool into a material, into extensions that are usable inside CAT tools, such as translation memories and term base. Automation. The examples we mentioned earlier are not all the automation aspects inside CAT tools. These are the main examples only. Other automation means include on-the-go instant statistics on your progress. How many words you achieved, how many words left, so you can handle and manage your time and determine when you deliver the project or the file underway. So Let us move to another section. Cat tools vs machine translation. What is the difference? As we have already mentioned, the difference is you. A prominent example is Google Translate. You will never know how Google Translate unless you work on it, unless they announce it. Even though you are not the one who updating Google Translate, for example, you are not the one who is choosing how to update it, whether to update this or not. In a cat tool, you are the one who is updating his resources. So every time you came across an update, you are the one who is updating their resources. The difference is you. I want to affirm that the difference is you. A quick glimpse about prominent cat tools. SDL began its work back in 2000 what? No, not 2000. 1984. Before I was born. I was born 85. Their first big investment or first big project came from Microsoft in the beginning of 1980, 90s, in the 1990s. So they are the inventors, they are the leaders, they are the beacon. No wonder they, in 2020, they held over 70% of the market share. Radio Studio is their prominent, is their top product. SDL is now bought by RWS, editor of the Radio Studio. Before we move to other examples of other programs, this is extensions and files of Radio Studio. You can pause here for further research. Other terms that are common between every cat tool, you can pause also here for further research. Let us move to other examples of cat tools. Memo queue here. It's editor. WordFast. It's editor. Mem source, which is now phrase. Alas, the blue icon, the blue pencil icon is now gone. It is a web-based service in the first place, but it has also its desktop version. And cloud-based, web-based cat tools are the new normal in the upcoming years. Trados introduced its cloud in 2019. MemoQ has its cloud web-based services, and MemSource is a pioneer in this aspect. What I'm trying to say is keep calm. They are same coffee with different cups, same concepts. They are only differing in appearance, in shortcuts, in colors. Every program is having two main components. They are the main components: the editor and the translation and term-based windows. Here is the editor, translation, and term-based windows, highlighted in blue, highlighted in navy blue. So also to keep calm and re-emphasize that you do not have to stuck with one program. Whenever you want to transfer their project, per file, or for good to another project, you will be able to exchange. This is an example of translation memory exchange, TMX. You can transfer your translation memory in another program to another program. Another section of the lecture, quick marketing tips. These are simple marketing tips. Marketing is a vast domain. It may take lectures of its own. And these are simple marketing tips. Once you get a grip of a certain CAT tool, you do not just sit like that. You mention it in your CV, you mention it in the social media platforms related to translation, because the icons, you can instead of Arabic use your target language, your main tongue. Here in this example, the leaders of technology in our planet do not use but CAT tools. Google itself has its own web-based CAT tool. You will see in the description the resources I used to learn and process, maintain, edit this presentation. Comments and questions are very welcome, and I am looking forward to connect with you. I'm translating since 2008, and I'm providing workshops paid and pro bono since 2015. 8 years now. So all the best. Have a good day.